welcome back to the vlog. So this episode is going to be talking about my 2020 race plans currently. It is subject to change, but there is a couple of races that are definitely set in stone, and I'll mention those as we go along. So let's get into it. But before we begin, I do want to kind of talk about this acclimation training block that I do. It was not part of my Tokyo Marathon training plan, and it was basically a 3x2 run bike setup where run 2 miles in under 15 minutes and then try to bike 5 miles in under 15 minutes. Or basically I'm just alternating both of those workouts for 3 sets. So I'm just going to kind of go over that workout and just kind of explain to you where I am at a fitness level. I used Apple workouts for this because Map My Run indoors is kind of goofy. The first run in the set was 2 miles. So again, Apple Workouts is inaccurate indoors, especially if you're on a treadmill or a track. For me, it's showing that I ran 2 miles in 14:21 as my first set during the workout. And after that, our indoor bike was 5 miles in 14:48, so we're cutting it a little close. That puts us at about an average of like 20 miles an hour, maybe just slightly over, I suspect. Set number 2, I ran 2 miles in 13:34, and it shows you 1.79 miles as distance because my stride started to increase. So I'm guessing Apple Workouts is trying to estimate how many steps I was taking, and I guess it just assumed because I was taking less steps and just pushing harder off the treadmill that I did less distance. But yeah, and my heart rate was lower too, probably because it was building off the zone 2 from the bike. Could be. It's strange. And then the cycle after that, 15:25. Yeah, I started really losing it at that point. 5 miles in 15:25. Yeah, my bike fitness kind of slipped off since I began Tokyo training. And then set number 3, 13:33. So it was very close, very accurate to the last set of running there. So this basically tells me that my running fitness, in terms of my expectations of this particular training plan, are passable. You know, I can probably do better than 2 miles in 13:33, but this is just a test workout. And then of course the last cycle, 15:08. Oof, better than the last set, and you can see by my heart rate towards the end of that block there that I really just tried to throw in a bike sprint just to make up for lost time. Wasn't working out very well from the looks of it. I lost it by about 8 seconds. That sucks. So yeah, long story short, this is telling me that my running fitness is in a good spot. My bike is probably in need of some work, and then swimming, I don't even want to question it. That's going to be part of my 2-a-day today, is to go into the water and start assessing my swimming fitness, because I don't think I've swam in over 3, maybe 4 months now. That's pretty bad. So if we're going to get into this Ironman training block, we better start swimming real soon. So with the Tokyo Marathon no longer happening on March 1st, I am still training to go with the motions of the marathon. It's kind of 50-50 if I'm going to simulate it on March 1st, or actually it would technically be, is this year a leap year? Let's find out. Oh, it is a leap year. So it's very possible that on February 29th in the evening time, I'm going to run a marathon to sync up with the Tokyo Marathon, which is happening X amount of hours ahead of us. So it's very likely that I may end up running a night marathon to simulate the Tokyo. Because if it's gotten to the point where I've already put in my 20-miler and I'm still going through the motions, why wouldn't I do that, right? So I may still end up doing it. We'll see. It just depends on feel, of course, as well, the weather, etc. We'll see how that goes. After that, what is that? March 14th, which is the Chicago Shamrock Shuffle 8K run. That race has historically, in my book at least, been the gateway to Chicago Marathon training. In this case, it's just a good way to assess my winter fitness and see essentially how we're going to do come the springtime, summertime. Last year when I had a broken foot, for example, I PR'd at the race, and it kind of gave me this good feeling that, even though my foot was broken, spring training was going to go pretty well. So that's happening on March 14th, and then there might be something in April by that time, but after Shamrock Shuffle, what's going to happen is I'm going to start reestablishing my baseline for the Chicago Marathon training. But in addition to that, I definitely start Ironman training, 70.3 to be exact. So that's going to be happening in April. Hopefully the weather starts panning out. It's going to look nice by then. You never know. But yeah, the idea is going to be to start swimming a lot more, biking a lot more. Running, we're going to just taper off a little bit. So instead of forcing myself to run 80 or 70 miles a week, we'll aim closer to 50 to 60 until about midsummer time, per se. So May 23rd is the Soldier Field 10-miler race. That's going to be kind of like the first of a few phases leading up into Ironman 70.3 Madison. Yeah, that's a novelty race. It's a good fitness tester, more or less, because it is a 10-mile run. Last year I did it. It was very hot, but it was a very fun race. You start in Soldier Field, you end in Soldier Field. Great time overall. And then on June 7th, it's the Run to the Zoo 10K, which historically has been a very hot race, but it's my stomping grounds, if you can say. So yeah, that's going to be a fun race as well, and it's a week before Ironman Madison 70.3. It's a good way just to have a good shakeout before Madison 70.3. So yep, I will try to do that race again. And then after that, June 14th, 2020 is Madison 70.3. That is going to be the culmination of the late winter, spring, early summer training. Yeah, that's going to be fun. It's going to be round 2 of the 70.3 Ironman in Madison. I'll make a whole separate video discussing my game plan for that. But yes, that's going to be June 14th. This is going to be the optional 70.3. Is 70.3 Steelhead, which is close to Holland, Michigan. I remember that being a very beautiful place in Michigan. Again, that's going to be 2 weeks after 70.3 Madison if I choose to go down that route. But that, again, is an optional race. We'll just see how things go from there. Next, we go into the summer block, which by then is definitely Chicago Marathon training season, my favorite time of the year. So by then, July 19th, 2020 is going to be the Rock and Roll Half Marathon, which will be my 6th take of this run. Last year I did not PR during this half marathon as I had some serious stomach issues at about mile 4 or 5. We'll talk about that more as we get closer to that race. But I did not PR during my half marathon then, and I don't have an established half marathon PR below an hour 30 that's official. So at the Chicago Marathon in 2019, I ran a sub hour 30 to about like hour 27, hour 28. I can probably push an hour 25, hour 24 right now if I could run a half marathon race. So hopefully by then, cross your fingers, I'll be able to do it then. So after that, we have 2 races happening in about late August from the looks of it. And they're both Olympic length triathlons. One could be a 70.3, depends. But one of them is going to be the Lake Tahoe Triathlon, which it's either August 22nd or August 23rd. Either ways, it's going to be some day that weekend. If I choose to go down that route, then cool. That's going to be the triathlon I do. Or we get to do for the 3rd time. Is it the 3rd time now? No, it'll be the 4th time. Four. It'll be the 4th time I do the Chicago Triathlon, which would be August 29th. But again, there's some stuff going on in Chicago in terms of the water level rising along the coast, which made last year become a Chicago Duathlon. So we're, again, going to be monitoring the water levels just to see if this is where, if the swim section is going to be part of this race. So it's going to be a toss-up between those 2 races. It would be cool to do Lake Tahoe because I love Lake Tahoe, and it'd be a good way to get some elevation exposure as well for a racing simulation, because I've never raced in elevation, so I would like to get my butt kicked out in elevation. After that, we pretty much keep all of September open. That's contingent. I may try to throw in a race in September. That's my birthday month, so why not? But yeah, I keep that month typically open strictly for training leading up to the Chicago Marathon, which is October 11th, 2020. And again, I'm confirmed for that race, so no way I'm backing out of it. And then I do want to run my sub-3 marathon by Chicago Marathon time, hopefully, if everything works out. And then the time after the Chicago Marathon is usually just party time for me. I'm still in shape mostly because, you have residual Chicago Marathon fitness. But this year is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to commit to a big winter race one way or another. So I signed up to be in the lottery for the New York Marathon, which is going to happen on November 1st, 2020. This was kind of my play after I withdrew from Tokyo. I said, okay, we're going to try to get in the lottery for New York. So if I get into the New York Marathon, sweet. That's going to be my plan for the winter racing season. And then after that, turkey trots or whatever, that's cool by my standard. If I don't make it into the New York Marathon, which I'll find out in a week, my race plan will be to run the Hot Chocolate 15K for the 6th time in my life. I PR'd last year and I ran something like 58 minutes and change. I'm going to see if I can try to break top 10 overall during that race, hopefully by then. And then, here's the surprise race. I want to do 70.3 Arizona in the wintertime, which is November 22nd, 2020. I have no idea what Arizona's like during the winter. I don't know how cold it is, and it's going to be in the mornings. But I kind of want to do that 70.3 as well. So again, just kind of a toss-up. It's going to be that Thanksgiving season-ish time. So I want to try to race that. And then after 70.3 Arizona, I don't think I have any major race plans after that. But this is kind of like what my 2020 calendar is pretty much looking like. So yeah, it's all good. That's really kind of just the point of this video, just to kind of lay out my training block here. And of course, I'm still training for Tokyo, even though I'm not running it. 70.3 Madison is 100% confirmed. I have a few races that are 100% confirmed as well, leading up to the Chicago Marathon, and there's some triathlons that are kind of just a toss-up there. And of course, that there will be a big winter race as we get to the winter season. I think that's like late fall still, isn't it? Is it winter or fall? Nevertheless, there's going to be a big one coming up. So if you have any race ideas, by all means, comment below and just let me know what you guys think is a good idea to do somewhere in either my Ironman training block and the Chicago Marathon training block, the post-Chicago Marathon training block. Just let me know what you think is a good idea. And of course, it doesn't have to be restricted to the Midwest or the United States. It could be out of country. I don't care. Just let's not go to Asia until we can figure out what's going on with coronavirus. Yeah, that's all I got for this particular video. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon.